So my name is Robert. This is my backpacking bag, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's in it, where I got it, and how I go about using it. So a big theme of this is going to be budget equipment, as you can see from the title. This is a good starting point for the beginner backpacker and someone who's just starting to kind of gather their gear. So starting with the bag alone, this is a Teton Sport. It's a 60-liter pack, fairly good size, very durable. It's got plenty of compartments. It's got kind of all the basics, everything you need, and I can get into more of it as I go along. So starting with the top of this bag, our brain. We got this pouch right here, and this is where I keep kind of my odds and ends. These little things that could kind of get lost very easily, and this is just a good place to grab them at a moment's notice. So we got like an emergency blanket. We got some soap. We got a repair kit for a tent or a tarp or a sleeping bag. We got sunscreen. We got some hand warmers. We got a multi-tool. We got some iodine tablets, and we got some Advil. So stuff that you could need or want to grab at a moment's notice. Right up top, easy accessibility. And then behind that is this little pouch where comes with a rain fly. So if it's starting to rain out in the field, I can easily just pull that out, wrap it around, and all of your gear will stay fairly dry. So another cool thing about this rain and this bag alone is you can unclip it, and this turns into a fanny pack. So right here behind it you got your straps, and it's pretty handy if you're out in the field or if you want to take a hike after you've made base camp and you don't have a smaller day pack in here, so you can just throw a water bottle and throw a snack or two and be on your way. So pretty handy. Fanny packs are kind of dorky, but I'll take it. Alright, so below that is a sleeping pad. This is a Thermarest, 3/4 sized. Not going to pull it out. There's not much to it, but anyways, very essential. I got this passed down through my family, but very essential to keeping comfortable and to keeping warm while you're sleeping. I would say every backpacker should use one of these. It's quite necessary. All right. So moving on, I will show you this right here. This is kind of like gear net. It's a good place to put flip-flops or Tevas or Chacos or whatever, or just dry clothes or more clothes. Anything you want in there. Pretty handy. As well as under that, there's a little side compartment to that, and this is where I keep kind of stuff that I could use around maybe the campfire. We got a notebook, we got a deck of cards in there, hacky sack. So yeah, some kind of non-essential but things that are kind of nice to have while you're just kind of sitting around or maybe in your tent, whatnot. All right, so then under that we got, this is a tarp. I think it's a 4x5 foot tarp. I use this for putting it under my tent. It kind of just gives me another layer of protection, so I don't snag my tent, or it could protect me from water as well, or protects it from putting a hole in something. Then below that I have a bandana as well. So moving on to the main compartment of the bag, this is where the bulk of your stuff should go, or most of the heaviest gear should be living. First thing I'll show you is my tent. This is a Tarantula 2-person. I got this off of Amazon.com. And one thing before I forget, so most of it is from Amazon.com. I will show you, or I'll leave links in the description below of all this stuff if that's where I got it, so you can go to it and check it out to see what you want to get. So this is a Tarantula 2-person. It's a very good tent. Although I will say it's a little bit big. With backpacking, you tend to want things that are a little bit smaller and lightweight. That being said, the smaller and more lightweight things are typically more expensive. So just know that getting into it all. So this is, I think, a little over 5 pounds. It's not the smallest thing by any means. It's fairly bulky, but I don't have to worry about it in the field. It's got a nice tarp bottom, so it keeps me good and dry, and I don't have to worry about snagging something, putting a hole in it very easily. So it's a pretty good tent, old trusty. I've used it for a few years now, and I think it only cost me $55, which is an absolute steal for a tent. Normally I wouldn't recommend buying a $55 tent, but I did, and it kind of worked out so far. So, yeah, moving on. Next thing is a Canadine water filter. This is kind of a new addition to my pack. It's pretty handy. I would say I'm typically hiking or backpacking in places that either have a stream, a river, or a lake or something like that. So this makes it very easy to just pull out water completely, or pull out water fast from the water source and not have to mess around with boiling it. Very good thing to have around. I think it was $50. This is like the hiker mini version, but it does the trick for sure. So, very important. I'm glad I have it. Alright, so next thing would be my kitchen set. This is kind of like the kitchen bag I use. And in here, we got my stove and my pot and pan. So I'll kind of show you this real quick. This is again from Amazon.com. Amazon, why did I say .com? You guys know what Amazon is. So this is just the stove right here. Very basic stove. You just screw it in right here. You got a can of gas as well. And you got a flame. And then in addition to that, I got my pot and my pan. So this turns into a little egg pan or whatever you want it to be. This is a Primus. I think this was also around $20. I think it holds 32 ounces of water and does the trick. Normally I'll keep my can of gas in here, like an 8-ounce MSR, typical can of gas. And I'll have the stove on top of here. And it all slips into here like a nice little package. So very convenient. And that's something that will be with me every time I go camping. Alright, so what else is in here? So this is kind of my food bag. I got all sorts of goodies. I've got some spices there. I got some instant oatmeal. I got some salt. Lots of spices. I got some gum, Crystal Light, just very random stuff. And when I go, I'll usually fill this up with my food. So it's all kind of in one compartment, my food, my kitchen set. So yeah, this is the food bag. Kind of a kitchen right there. Alright, and then the last thing I'll keep in this main compartment is the Crazy Creek. Very, very important. It's a stadium chair. This is not a backpacking version. This is kind of a cheaper one, but it does the trick. They're out of Red Lodge, Montana, so it's sweet to rep a local company. It's very nice to have one of these, especially if you're out in the rain or in the snow and you are sitting around a fire and it's been a long day out on the trail. It's really nice to have some sort of back support, something to lean on. As well as that, this unclips right here, and if you're really desperate, you can kind of use this as a sleeping pad as well. I have not done that, but I've heard about people doing that, and it'd be better than nothing, for sure. And I think this was right around $30. CrazyCreek.com, check it out. It's a cool brand. You can also get that on Amazon as well. Alright, so that does it for the main compartments. Moving on to the side pockets here. In this one, I got my headlamp. You can understand why this would be very important. Really handy when you're getting into your sleeping quarters or your tent or whatnot, or you're setting up a bear hang, or just at night looking for firewood. This is something that is always with me every single time. Very convenient and a necessity, I would say. And then as well, we got a mosquito net. It's usually not too bad where I'm at, but you never know. I've had some nights where it's been very bad, and that has came in handy. So same pocket, different side. I have my 550 P cord. So you can use this stuff for anything. I've chopped it up multiple times, but this is a kind of a bigger section that I typically use for a bear hang or a critter hang. So what I'll do is I'll take my kitchen sack and I'll throw all my food at the end of the night in here, or anything that smells or is attractive to some sort of animal. And I'll take my headlamp and I'll go find a tree outside of my camping area, and I'll throw it over, and I will hoist this thing up into the air so it's away from my tent, And so if any critters want to try and get it, they're not by me, which is kind of gives you a little bit of peace of mind. It's a good thing to do, good practice. All right, so those are the side pockets there. Moving on, so this is my cup. It kind of does everything for me. It's a measuring tool. It's my water cup. It's a food bowl. Kind of does everything. There's no real good spot for it, so I just clipped it onto the outside, and that's where it lives. So pretty much this last part right here, this is where your sleeping bag typically should go. So with my sleeping bag, again, I use a Teton Sport. It's a 0 degree down bag. This is, I believe, I got it for like $85. Pretty good bag. So again, with this stuff, it's, this is more on the budget side of things, budget equipment. Hence it being only $80. Typically sleeping bags, backpacking sleeping bags can range to be a lot more expensive than that. But this is pretty good for the price. I will say you shouldn't normally cheap out on a sleeping bag. That's a very important thing to really put some money into. You do not want to be waiting for the sun in the morning because you're freezing cold. You got a small sleeping bag, or you got not the best type of equipment. So yeah, it's something to really spend money on. If you're gonna spend money on, one thing, it's probably a sleeping bag. I would say as well, the bag itself is pretty important, and then maybe a tent. Maybe those are the 3 biggest items that are gonna cost you the most. But you probably should invest because it's worth your while. So yeah, this is not the smallest and most ideal backpacking sleeping bag by any means. But it does the trick. It is a compression bag, so if I'm really hurting for space, I can make it get pretty small, and yeah, it still leaves me room for other stuff. So yeah, pretty important, and it's done me well. All right, so I guess the last few notes for this bag. This is not the most lightweight bag. It is very durable though. That is one thing. I don't have to baby it by any means. I'm not worried about it at all. Like I said, I think it was around $90 or $100 or something like that. Got pretty good padding. It's an internal frame. So pretty basic. Not much to it. It's just got exactly what you need. It's got your water bottle holders. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to this bag other than what I've shown you and what pockets I use. So this is my stuff. This is what I use right now, and just to let you guys know, this is all stuff that I have to bring with me every single time, or at least try and bring with me every single time. In addition to all this stuff, I will bring typically food, water, and clothes, extra clothes to keep warm and whatnot. So the pack does get a little bit bigger than how you saw it sitting next to me as this video started. It's usually a bit bigger than that. So that being said, yeah, this is kind of the essentials. This is kind of the starting point where you want to be. And there's things that are more important than others, like the Crazy Creek. I wouldn't pop for that the first thing. I wouldn't get that right away. I would just probably work on getting your sleeping bag, your tent, and then the pack. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just my take on it. I hope this is of use to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys learned something. So until next time.